What's good, everybody? I thought I'd come with this video here. There's a lot of information that has come out in regards to, the different features and stuff like that, things leaked about, about NBA 2K16. But one of the things I think we've forgotten about since, when we first started hearing about information, about the game, I think we forgot about the good old classic teams. They were talking about, I believe it was Scott O'Gallagher, SOG dropped a couple, mentions about new classic teams or more classic teams going to be involved. So I decided that I would put together a little list of the classic teams that I would love to see added into the game. Now, one particular one that I made a little list, but I didn't, I put the years and everything down with the list of the teams that I wanted in there. But I actually forgot about one particular year, I forgot the year of the team that I wanted for this one. So when I get to it, I'll let you know. But so I'm gonna work from most recent back. Now, you don't really necessarily need to have a team from the last 2 or 3 seasons because that team's probably pretty much in there. So this first suggestion that I have, and I got some, if you're wondering, if you're new to my channel and you don't know what I do or whatever, the gameplay that you're looking at is Ultimate Legends roster gameplay. So this is like the all-time Cavs against the all-time Hawks. So just so you know, that roster's out there if you want to get it on PlayStation 4, the Ultimate Legends roster. But the first team is the 2011-2012 Oklahoma City Thunder. So that's KD, it's Westbrook, Derek Fisher, but James Harden is on the Thunder. So I think that would be a pretty cool team to have. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I don't really need to delve into why that would be good. It's pretty clear to anybody, right? So then we got the 2010-2011 Mavericks that won the championship, right? Now that Mavericks team beat the Miami Heat. That was like the first year that LeBron and Bosh and them were together. You had Jason Kidd, Sean Marion, Dirk Nowitzki, Peja Stojakovic, Jason Terry, Deshaun Stevenson. All of those guys were on that team. So I think that would be pretty decent. Now, moving on to the next one I think would be really cool to have is the 2008-2009 Orlando Magic. That team had Dwight Howard. It also had Jameer Nelson. I believe Courtney Lee was a part of that team. You had Horace Grant, I think. Maybe no, it wasn't Horace Grant. Wasn't on that team. I'm sorry, no, it wasn't Horace Grant. I think Horace Grant had already retired. The power forward. Who was the power forward? Was it Tony Batiste? I think it was Tony Batiste. But you also had Marcin Gortat. You had Petrus. You had JJ Redick, and they went to the finals and they lost to the Lakers in the finals. So that particular 08 that particular team was good. Also in that same year, you had the Denver Nuggets, who actually made it to the Western Conference Finals that year, and they lost to the Lakers. Now that 08-09 Nuggets team is interesting because you have Melo and you have Chauncey Billups, and you also have Allen Iverson on that team. I mean, now he, was definitely older Iverson. You get Kenyon Martin. I mean, a lot of people, you realize that team went all the way to the Western Conference Finals and lost in 6 games to the Lakers. Nene was on that team. Birdman, Chris Anderson, J.R. Smith was on that team. That would be a pretty interesting squad to have on there as well. Now, the 07-08 Boston Celtics, that's the old KG. Anything is possible. Gotta have him on there. The Celtics with Paul Pierce and him and Ray Allen. The 06-07 Cavs with LeBron James. That was the first Cavaliers team he took to the finals when it was like him and just 11 dudes from off the street. The 06-07 Phoenix Suns have Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire, Sean Marion on there. 05-06 Heat with Dwayne Wade. They pulled an upset over the Mavericks in the finals. The 04-05 Rockets is a good team because you got Tracy McGrady and Yao Ming. I'm digging that team. 0203 Nets is nice because you got Jason Kidd, Richard Jefferson, Kenyon Martin on that team. The 0102 Kings, I think they tried to have them in there before, but they didn't have Chris Webber, so it kind of came off kind of whack. But Webber, Mike Bibby, Stojakovic in there, that's hot. The 99-2000 Blazers, we got Rasheed Wallace, Scottie Pippen. Who else did they have? For whatever reason, I'm drawing a blank. It might have been like a really young Zach Randolph and maybe even a really young Jermaine O'Neal on that 99-2000 Blazers team. I know they had like that was back when they called them like the Jailblazers, but they had a lot of talent for sure. And the 99-2000 Blazers, I'm trying to make sure I can get this up so we can see for sure. But I know that was that era for sure. We had Gary Grant, Brian Grant, Jermaine O'Neal, Scottie Pippen, Arvydas Sabonis, Detlef Schrempf, Damon Stoudemire, Rasheed Wallace, Steve Smith, Bonzi Wells. Yeah, so that was a really good team. Also, the 99-2000 Pacers is Reggie Miller's team. Went to the finals. 98-99 Knicks. They don't get a lot of credit because they went to the finals in the lockout shortened season. Patrick Ewing wasn't even playing on the team when they went to the finals. But Latrell Sprewell is the main reason why I want them on the team, for sure. 92-93 Suns, Barkley, Kevin Johnson, enough said. 91-92 Nets is interesting. Kenny Anderson, Derek Coleman, Drazen Petrovic. That was a fun team. Now you got to put the 87-88 Lakers on there in the right way, so which means Kareem has to be on there. The 85-86 Rockets would also be awesome because you got the Twin Towers, Hakeem Olajuwon, Ralph Sampson, Allen Level, Robert Reed. Really good team. The 82-83 76ers need to be there. They had them kind of on there before, but I don't know. It was kind of weird, but actually, I think they had like the 83-84. I don't know what it was, but 82-83 76ers was one of the arguably greatest teams ever. 78-79 Sonics. You got Lenny Wilkins, Downtown Freddie Brown, Jack Sigma. Those guys need to be there. The 77-78 Bullets, Wes Unseld, Elvin Hayes. They won basically the season before the Sonics won. Then, we're going back into the 70s, but the 76-77 Blazers is Bill Walton. They beat Dr. J's team in the NBA Finals. There's no Bill Walton team on there except for the old. Why would you only have the old six-man winning Bill Walton from the Boston Celtics? I don't really dig that. I don't understand. So I got three more. The 74-75 Golden State Warriors, Rick Barry's team, especially after they just won the NBA championship this year. I definitely think putting them in there now would be good. The 70-71 Bucks. So we had an old Bucks team that had Oscar Robinson, but it didn't have Lou Alcindor. Kareem. Actually, I think he'd already changed his name to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. We need to get Kareem in this game. We need to have Kareem in the game. He definitely needs to be there. Now here's another one. The 66-67 76ers. And now we had Wilt, but we do realize that 1970s Wilt was Wilt past his prime. Even as awesome, as dominant as he was, 72-73 Lakers, as awesome as dominant as he was, that wasn't the same 100-point scoring 50. I mean, one year Wilt Chamberlain averaged 50.4 points a game. Okay, the 66-67 76ers had him, I believe Hal Greer on there. This is one of the teams that, if you look at their record, they're arguably one of the best records. They definitely had one of the best records in NBA history, and it's arguably one of the best teams in NBA history. So that's another team that I think would, just be awesome to have. Now, obviously, we're not going to get all of these teams, right? All of the ones that I named are not going to be there. So I want y'all to tell me. Because I had 25 teams that I just named that I wanted them to have. The one I left out though is the Toronto Raptors, the Vince Carter Toronto Raptors team. So we could pick. You could pick. I don't know which one. I know one year the Raptors made it, I believe, to the to the Eastern Conference Finals. I want to say. That had to be, let's see, was that 01, 02? Nah, it wasn't 01, 02. Was it 02, 03? No, I think they were going bad. And maybe it wasn't the Western Conference Finals, because I want to, you know what? I believe it was 99, 2000, because no, it was 2000, 2001. I'm sorry. They lost in 7 games to the 76ers. I remember the series. I just couldn't remember how deep into the playoffs it was. But it was the 2000, 2001 season. They had Vince Carter, Muggsy Bogues, Chris Childs, Dale Curry, Mark Jackson, Tracy Murray, Charles Oakley. This wasn't a really great team at all. It really wasn't. Vince Carter averaged 27.6 a game. The next closest guy in scoring was Antonio Davis at 13.7. So it was Vince Carter all day. But we need to have young Vince in the game. Got to have young Vince in the game. So as a matter of fact, that's 26 teams that I would like to see in the game. Obviously, we're not going to get 26 classic teams. We're not going to get that added on, especially added on to what's already there. So out of the teams that I named, what would you say are the ones that you like? Yeah, I need to have those in there. So in the comment section, let me know, out of the suggestions that I made, which classic teams do you just feel like, yes, we need to have those in? Now, it's probably way too late. It could be too late to do this, but I'm going to shoot this information over to 2K and say, hey, man, these are the guys, these are the teams that people said that they wanted the most. I don't know of another video that exists right now that asking this question to the community. So if you know other people who may not be familiar with this video or the channel or whatever, have them come in and vote too and say which classic teams they want. We'll see if it has any bearing at all on this year or future years with classic teams. Maybe even, I don't know. I would love to see classic team DLC. I totally would love to see it. So I don't know, but I appreciate you guys watching. Definitely in the comments, chime in, let me know. God bless. Peace.